You've literally got to be kidding me. It was right there. The range of emotions over the last 25 seconds watching that basketball game. The highs and the lows of the San Antonio Spurs continued tonight, and that all was in a microcosm as well. And we're going to break it down here on Spurs Digest with your host, Keenan Warner. And if you haven't yet, make sure you take a spur of the moment to get every Spurs moment so you don't miss all the great content that we have going forward. But without further ado, let's just get right into it. We got a 117 to 116 loss for the San Antonio Spurs. A Miles Bridges wide open corner three ices the game with 1.4. So we thought. Then De'Aaron Fox does De'Aaron Fox things. And then it's just a little too late. He needed 2 seconds on the clock. We are going to break down this entire game. But first off, I know that obviously the record-wise, the Hornets, I think now are 13-36. They're one of the worst teams record-wise in the league. I just want to point this out real close here, real fast. They're 1-16 without LaMelo. They had LaMelo tonight. They now go to 12-20. Is that a great team by any means? No. But they're missing Brandon Miller. Of course, Mark Williams is not there tonight, which makes it tough too, which is why you should beat this team because they don't have their pieces. They obviously don't have Dalton Connect who's coming in. They don't have Cam Reddish who's coming in. But this team does play quality basketball. They play hard, honestly. They play teams tough. They played the Lakers tough. They played Phoenix tough. They actually beat Phoenix earlier. They played the Nuggets tough. They played the Thunder tough, all within 10 points. They've only 3 times they've been blown out by 15 or more when LaMelo's playing. If there's not, it's typically either they win or it's within 10 points. There's been a couple 12-point losses, but even then in today's NBA, that's 3-4 possessions and you're right in the game. So only 3 losses of 15 or more. So this Hornets team isn't as bad as we think. But the first thing I want to talk about before we get into the entire, the last sequence of the game, there's something I need to just talk about real quick. And it's this. Here's what you're going to see. You're going to see it's 98 to 107. It goes bottom to top. That's the first play. The top is the last play that happened. Okay, you had the Devin Vassell. This is when he got hot. So you had the Devin Vassell make. And then you get the Stephon Castle and one. And then afterwards, you get the Devin Vassell steal and your 3. They go on a mini 9-0 run like that. And then it's 5:54 left. They call a timeout. Perfect. Wemby's not on the floor at this point. He doesn't come back on the floor after this, and then they try to sub him in at the 4:30 mark. He doesn't get in until like the 3:45 mark. If you're gonna put him in at the 4:30, just put him in at the 5:54. That minute and a half, that's not going to spare him. And at this point, okay, so we're on a run. We're on this run without our best player. De'Aaron Fox wasn't involved in this. It was Devin Vassell and our best player tonight, which was Stephon Castle. Cool. And then we go on, and then we're just like, okay, let's not go put this guy in. Let's not go put the guy in that we clearly know is the best player on the team, best player on the floor, typically the best player on the floor 8 times out of 10 when you're 8.5 times out of 10 when you're playing another opponent, and he's going to be better or even just as good as the other 1.5 that are probably better than him at this moment in time, depending on who it is. Like, just let's put him on the floor and let's give him minutes. The extra 2 matters greatly because you then get possessions where the Hornets can get to the basket without the thought of Wemby being there, and that changes the entire complexion of how their offense is run. I mean, LaMelo's not scared of anything. He'll take whatever shot whenever. He's one of the most enjoyable players to watch because he really just doesn't care. He's going to go for it, and a lot of the time it works out for him. Some of the times he has that fadeaway in the corner and it clanks off the top of the backboard. But other times he has the one-legged 3, and you're like, oh, that's just LaMelo. You got to live with it, especially as a Charlotte team that doesn't have any championship aspirations anytime soon. This guy, though, on the night, we're going to get into his stats in a second. he played his best game as a pro, as we saw. He was efficient. He got downhill. He was getting to the lane and picking his spots, and then the three was flowing from there. But when he is getting downhill, when he is really learning, and this is the great thing about De'Aaron Fox. There's a couple points I want to make about De'Aaron Fox, but De'Aaron Fox, the first thing is, he's one of the best downhill guards in the league. Obviously, Chris Paul can teach you the cerebral mind, this is how you look at this, you should look at this is how you prepare yourself, this is how you do that. But Chris Paul's not in that I can get downhill bag anymore in his career. Fine, he's 39. He doesn't have to be. But you know who is? De'Aaron Fox. He's one of the best, if not arguably the best guard in the league when it comes to just getting downhill. It's him, it's Ja, Westbrook can still do it. Obviously, there's other guards that can get downhill, but he is one of the elite ones. And Stephon Castle gets to learn from him. Okay, bounce here and then put yourself, just little things that he has, that twitchiness that Fox has, so he can do things like that. And he was showcasing that tonight. De'Aaron Fox said he was one of the reasons that he wanted to come to San Antonio, and we can tell why that is. Devin Vassell, I want to shout out to you. You kept us in it, especially late, bringing us back with those threes. He got hot going at the end. We needed that in the fourth quarter to get on that run. And then, of course, De'Aaron Fox. De'Aaron Fox, this game more so excites me about De'Aaron Fox in that first game. And I'm going to tell you why. Up until the last 2.5 minutes of the game, you were like, okay, De'Aaron Fox, he didn't pop off the screen. It was, Stephon Castle here. Devin Vassell run. Wemby block here, and him just doing Wemby thing. He's always going to pop off the screen naturally. But, on the Warriors, Kevin Durant had the same kind of thing. It was, when Steph has 30, it's like, oh my goodness gracious. When Clay goes off, it's like Clay is hot. Draymond's hitting a couple shots. Everybody doing it. And then when Kevin Durant was there, it was like, Kevin Durant played fine today, did he? Look at the box score, he had 28. And you're like, wait, when did he have 28? At the point when I looked at it, De'Aaron Fox had 17 points, 6 assists, 4 steals, 0 turnovers. And it was like, I can't, he just does things in the flow of the game. He doesn't force himself onto the game. He doesn't he makes himself a presence, but doesn't have to be a loud presence. He does what the team needs for him to do in that time. And again, back-to-back games, this is the new guy. He's been there for 2 games, and they said at the end of the Hawks game, take it. You go, he missed the layup, Wemby gets the putback. It's the pick and roll with Wemby. He goes to the basket, clearly gets fouled. I don't know why they challenged that, because they wasted their own time out there. That was one of the dumbest things I saw in that game. But then obviously makes the first, misses the second smartly. But then this game, Castle's going off. Wemby's your best player. And they're like, nope, clear. And he's dancing at the top, that sidestep, little fadeaway, bucket. We go up 2. I'm texting the Digest group chat. I just say Fox in all caps because I'm excited. I'm elated. We have a closer. We had guys who can close. Now we have a closer to go along with Wemby, to go along with Paul, Barnes, all these other guys who can close. We have a true closer. And then we all collapse in the middle of the paint, dish it out to LaMelo Ball, dishes it out to me, Miles Bridges. I don't know why I want to say Mikal, but Miles Bridges. And then De'Aaron Fox, again, needed 2 seconds, that lefty stroke for 3 in the win, as I thought it was. Part of me knew it was already short, but I still got so excited, and I jumped right into this. We were not waiting on this. But overall, the Spurs did what they do this year always, which is find a quarter to take off. It used to be only the beginning of the game and they'd come back at the end, but then in a lot of recent games it's been, okay, they play fine in the first half, and then the third quarter they just find their way to not play well. It's typically never the fourth quarter. The fourth quarter they usually play well unless the game's already out of hand for the most part, but we just do what we do. One quarter a game, this team is going to just take off for 75% of the game. And that's what happens. Because if you look at the rest of it, we played them even in the second, up 1 in the third, up 10 in the fourth. We win that game by 12 if we just play the game, or 11, sorry, if we just play the game properly. But they win by 12, and then that's the game. We have to play catch-up the rest of the game. It's, okay, we get to 9, and then, we're on the fast break. Julian Champagnie, who has been ice cold, he hasn't scored over 10 points in a month. But Julian Champagnie on the side misses the 3. Then they go back down, and they get a 3 in the corner. Instead of it being a 6-point game, that's a 6-point swing. It becomes a 12-point game. There's just so much of that where you have to play perfect basketball or near perfect basketball to get back in these games. And this is against a Hornets team that's not all that great. When it comes to OKC, when it comes to the Nuggets, the Timberwolves, the Lakers, the Mavericks, all these top teams who are going to be trying to compete for the Warriors even, because obviously we got to get into the play-in to even try to get to the playoffs. Those teams are going to make you pay, especially when you are not playing defense at an elite level like you guys can. But we saw it for stretches, especially in that fourth quarter, where they locked up, they clamped down, and then offensively they got in transition. Now that we have De'Aaron Fox, the pace is moving up and things are moving swimmingly. I mean, overall, Castle off the bench in 31 minutes, 10 of 15 from the floor, 33 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists, 4 turnovers, but I'm okay with it because other than that Wemby one, at the end of the game, he's got to go up with that layup. He got to the basket. The game has been flowing all that. It was about $1:22 left on the clock. He gets downhill. He gets to the middle of the paint. He has the floater. He needs to just put it up. Regardless of even if it's a little contested, just put it up because you have the alien circling there. And we saw last game, De'Aaron Fox gets to the basket. He misses the layup, but he draws 2, and then Wemby can dunk it. It was the same situation where I think the ball draws the eyes, of course, and then you've got the long Wemby reach, so the 9-7 standing reach, I believe, who can just kind of dunk it. He had that one unorthodox dunk where he was like turned backwards and then like turned and dunked it. It was like, wait, that's not even real. That should only be a layup. And it was for him, it was like, it's just a regular set-in. And it's just like, those are the things where you're like, what is this? Sochan played very quality basketball today. I do like him off the bench. I think it's an interesting wrinkle to have him off the bench. I know probably next year we'll have him starting because like you'll have different lineups with maybe not Barnes there. Obviously CP3 might be retired or whatnot happens with that. But I don't mind it right now. I kind of like how the starting 5 looking. And then I do like how we're going 9 deep. This is the 9 that I'm loving right now. And then when Charles Bassey comes back, he's going to be the 10 to spell Wemby. But yeah, 34 minutes, that could have easily been 36. Not a big deal. That 36 is not a big deal, and that changes the complexion of the defense, even though he was 7 for 20, 5 blocks, only 1 turnover, 11 rebounds. So, like, those are the little things that coaching-wise maybe Pop does that Mitch Johnson doesn't, but I know Pop obviously with rotations. It just all depends. I guess I just think that his body's acclimated to the NBA now. Like, we can give him 36 minutes a night. If he has to play 38 on a given night, that's fine. It's getting to the point in the season where all these wins against teams that we need them against matter. Because, I mean, the Golden State Warriors are 25-26, and they're the 11th seed. We're now 22-27. This was one of the games that we needed to win to get into the All-Star break, because we can get into the All-Star break close to 500 with De'Aaron Fox, get us all adjusted, acquainted together. We'll be able to make some noise. But this was Spurs Digest with your host, Keenan Warner. Let me know in the comments what you guys thought about this game. How demoralizing of a loss do you guys feel that this one is? Because this one hurt me. This one hurt because, not just because it was the Hornets and we needed to keep bumping up the bottom at the number 12. It hurt because Fox did exactly what he needed to do late game. They soiled it away defensively, and then they needed 2.0 or 2.1 on the clock, and unfortunately they only had 1.4. And Fox, again, just continuing to do what he does. Like, I wish they would just count it just to count it, obviously, even though that's not how it works. But let me know what you guys think in the comments. This was Spurs Digest, again, with your host, Keenan Warner. I appreciate all of you guys, and I will be seeing all of you guys very soon.